and pull aside the clothes she was wearing when captured, after she has lived in your house by force, yeah, and mourned her father and mother for a full month. Then you may go to her by force and
by force.
be
Does
her
it say
husband.
by force?
And
does it say by force?
Captive
No,
is
no.
by force.
He's just saying by force.
Okay, wait.
It doesn't say. Why are you getting?
What's captives?
Okay, if
You
you
tell
have a
me what's
war,
captives.
if you have a war,
Yes.
and the men are killed, what are the women?
Is that not by force?
Okay, are they,
captives is by force or by choice?
No.
Can anyone
It's a
accept
result
to
of
be
war.
captives?
It's a result
Okay,
of war.
is that by force or by choice?
If you're having a war, are you going to have a war where
can
you
you
kill
answer
people?
my question?
Okay, now, are you
Can you
finished?
answer my question? No, I want you to answer my question.
Are you going to interrupt?
No,
Should
I want you to
interrupt
answer my question.
I'll let you talk.
Is captives
If you
by
let
choice or
me
by
talk,
force?
Then I'll let you talk. Are you going to let
Can
me
you
talk?
answer?
Are you going to let me talk?
Okay, I'll let you talk.
Now,
so
first of
answer.
all-
No, answer. Is captives by choice or by force?
Okay.
Answer
Are you
this
finished?
question.
Answer, please.
Answer this question.
If I say something, are you going to interrupt? How much time do I have to answer?
No, I want you to answer this one,
Okay,
and then you
time
can
me,
call.
time me. How much time
let
are
me
you going to
finish
give me to
first.
answer?
Let me finish the
Okay,
verse.
how long do you need to
Okay.
finish this? How long?
No,
no.
we need
2
less than
minutes,
1
2
minute.
minutes. Okay,
Less than 1
1
minute.
minute, I'll have 1 or 2 minutes to answer.
Okay. So
All
now
right,
from our
all right.
timing, yes?
These guys are saying okay.
Timing,
So I'm
okay,
going to
timing.
take that. He's going to have 1 minute to finish. Okay.
It says, and pull aside the clothes she was wearing when captured, after she lived in your house, and mourned her father and mother for a full month. Then you may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. Chapter is Deuteronomy chapter 21.
Okay, is that the same chapter?
To
1 minute.
verse 10 to 14.
10
So
to
chapter
14.
verse 14 it says, if you are not pleased with her, the captive woman.
Okay, no, it
If you
doesn't.
not, it says
Okay.
if you are not pleased with her, let her go. Which means after you have sex with her, you stay with her, she becomes your wife by force, muta marriage. If you dislike her, it says if you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. See, force, muta marriage, sex slavery, force wife, everything is force. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave. When is that? When he dislikes her, when he is not pleased with her.
When he lets her go.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the condition.
So-
the only time he cannot
Okay, you
sell
have 1
her as
minute.
a
Is
slave.
this over?
Okay.
Is this over? Okay, I have 2 minutes. So
Okay.
please time.
Any time
He's
for
not
him,
gonna-
please.
He's going to time.
Time for him.
Okay, so you're reading chapter 21.
21 verse
10 1,
to
starting at verse 1,
14.
right?
Yes.
Okay, Deuteronomy
Verse 10 to 14.
10 to 14. Okay, number 10. Treatment of captive taken for a wife. Okay, when thou goes to in this passage, it never says use force to marry her. Okay? Yeah. So you got me timed, right? Okay,
2
you're
minutes,
wasting
yeah?
my time. Put the clock again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You
Now I
start
have
now.
2 minutes to answer this question.
Okay.
There is no muta marriage in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy has nothing to do with this. When you are in a war and there are women that are captured because they're enemies' wives or daughters or what have you. Those women, he said, if you want one of them that you like, you want to get married to her, you can marry her. It's just allowing you to marry her. How do you do that? You don't force her. You take her, you give her time for mourning. So because in the old days when you mourn the death of their mother, they shave their head and they do all this ritual. They say, let her do this ritual. After 1 month, you marry her. Now when he quoted the other verse, it's a different passage from a different, what was the verse number that you quoted?
It's just same chapter.
Yeah, but which verse number is it?
For chapter 21, Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10 to 14.
No. The one where it
The
says,
last one, if you're not pleased
Yes,
with her, let
where-
her go.
okay,
After
which
having
verse
sex
is
with
that?
her,
Which verse is that?
She becomes forced wife.
which verse is
says
that?
let her go.
Which verse is that?
Doesn't matter.
Which verse is that? Which verse is that?
The one if you're not pleased with her.
Yeah.
24.
24. Okay, so he went from 14 to 24. He took a 10 verses jump. It changes the whole context because the 24 comes under the subject of the stubborn son shall be stoned to death. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which, okay, so if you go in this.
He's reading 18, yeah? Keep
What?
that in mind.
No,
You're reading
I'm
18.
chapter, 21.
Yeah, chapter 21, verse
18, but I'm
19.
going down.
Yeah.
You said it's verse 21, right?
20, no.
No, 24.
No, 10 to 14.
Okay, where does it say that you can leave the woman? Where does it say that?
It
The
says
last
if
one.
you're not pleased with her, it
Which
says
verse
24.
is that? Which
24.
24.
Yes. No, 14. Sorry, 14.
14.
You
Okay.
confused me.
And it shall be no delight in her.
See, delight in her.
Thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou
After
shalt not sell her
after you
at
sleep with
all
her.
for money. Thou shalt not sell her
2
for
minutes
thou.
is finished.
Thou shalt not make merchandise of her.
2 minutes
because
is finished.
Time is finished.
My time, 2
what is
minutes.
the time?
My time, 2 minutes.
No, because I was talking to you in the middle.
Okay,
that's
okay,
you.
give him
Has
30
humbled
seconds.
her.
Give him 30 seconds, 30 more
Okay.
seconds. You talk.
It does not say that you can marry her temporarily. It says you can marry her. But if she does not want to be your wife, or you don't want her, or whatever, you can let her go. That in the old days you could divorce a woman. In
Wait.
that time you could divorce a woman. So he said you can let her go. It doesn't
So
say
30 minutes,
to marry
30
her
seconds is gone.
and pay her. Because in Islam it's
30
okay to
seconds
pay
is
her.
gone.
No,
30
but it
seconds
just
is gone.
started 30 seconds.
No, I give it 30
Okay.
extra 30
Okay.
seconds.
So if there is no force.
10 seconds again.
Okay.
Okay.
There is no force. There is no temporary marriage. If you want to divorce her, you can, because in those days Israelites were allowed to divorce. That's all.
Okay, wait. So now, number one, the verse does not say marry her.
It says wife.
It doesn't mention.
It does say
no,
wife.
it says wife. Okay, now imagine you get a captive
Take
woman.
somebody for a
Wait.
wife.
You get a captive woman from the war booty, and she belongs to someone. She's already married. How can she become your wife?
I know that.
Is that no slavery? That's clear slavery.
No, it's not.
Plus, the Bible says she becomes your wife through where? Through captives. Captives is not by choice; it's by force.
Okay.
So you force the lady to become your wife, and yet what?
No.
If
This
you
force-
sleep with her, wait, let me my 2 minutes. If you sleep with her, and you dislike her, you don't like her body shape or the way she looks like, the Bible says, let her free, let her go. Is that not slavery and prostitution? So now he's insulting and criticizing the same rule which is, or he's criticizing when Prophet Muhammad told us about captives women in Islam. We keep them for captives and we use them. And the Bible also
What is-
says,
okay.
another verse even.
No. What is what your right hand possess in the Quran? What does it
that's
mean what your
slavery.
right hand possess?
You have to let him talk now.
No, let me finish. Don't worry. She's got all verses. Listen. So now I'm giving another verses again. And Numbers chapter 21. No, chapter 31. No, second. Let me finish. No, I'm Sunni. So
Numbers what?
Numbers chapter 31. Chapter 31, verse 31 to 41, it says even the rules of sex slavery, slave and captives woman. God of the Bible, even according to
What
that
does it say?
chapter,
What does it
Numbers
say?
chapter 31,
Okay, you're
verse
quoting
30
it. Tell us what does it say?
Numbers. Okay, let me quote now.
Yeah,
I will quote now. I'll quote now. Chapters and Numbers chapter 31, verse 31 to 41. If I give you just one verse, it says chapter 31, verse 40, it says the God of the Bible took 32 virgins, young virgins, women from the
hold
war
on.
booty
Okay, where is it?
for
Where
his
is it?
sharing.
Where does it say that? This is 40.
40, read.
Yeah, what does it say?
Yeah.
In the
All the
person?
persons
Was 16,000, of which the Lord's tributes was 32 persons.
Okay, go ahead.
So now the God of the Bible took 32 young virgins from the war booty and he gave it to rabbis or priests, whatever. So now it's sex slavery again. I don't understand when Christians come here and criticize about sex and about captives women in Islam during the battle, when they have same thing in the Bible. Why would you come and discuss with us about that matter? It's like me being
Is it
poor.
2 minutes? Is it 2
Can I
minutes?
criticize
How
someone
many minutes?
else by
How many
being
seconds?
poor, a poor person? I can't.
Okay, it's over.
Yeah, you can talk.
It's 3 minutes. So I'm gonna get 3 minutes, okay?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
All right. He just quoted this other verse. Before that, he also talking about slavery and in Quran, it's explicit, the right hand possession. The right hand possess, that means you're sex slaves from war booty, okay? It doesn't have anything to do with marriage. It doesn't have any, you said those women, even if they're married, you can have sex with them. That's called adultery. So Allah is sanctioning adultery for Muslims, for the captive women. It's okay. You can have sex, even if their husbands are alive, even if they're not even killed in the war, they're still alive. They're married women, you can have sex with them. It's your right hand possession. That's the Islam, the God of Islam.
Where's your proof? Where's your proof?
Wait, let me speak. No, he's got time. He's got time. Let me speak.
Now, this is Islam. In the Bible, he just quoted, and first of all, he's quoting the Old Testament. Old Testament has laws for the Jews. Those laws were applicable because Jews were under attack from everywhere. They were fighting everybody for survival because Satan wanted to kill the line of the Jews because they were the children of God. Because he wanted to kill the children of God, God had protected them throughout history. Okay, so when you're engaged in war, there are rules of war. And in those days, the rules of wars were what they were. It did not allow for sex slavery from God. It did not allow for temporary marriage. It asked him to make them your wife. That means you marry them. And if they're not to your liking, you can divorce them, just like you can divorce. In those days, God allowed Jews to divorce. So that was it. There's nothing like that. But in Quran, it's the opposite. In the Quran, it says your right hand possession is the woman, even if she's married, whatever, you can have sex with her. That's it. That's not the God of Bible, because the Muslims say that our God and your God is same. It's not the same God. He cannot do this in the Old Testament, and then in the Quran he's doing something. And as a Christian, we don't have anything to do with this. He's telling me that. You should talk to a Jew and say, why does your Torah say that? We believe the Torah as a history because it talks about the coming of Jesus. That's all we talk about. We don't, the laws of Torah do not apply to us. How many minutes? 2 minutes. So I have 1 minute. The laws of Torah are not implemented on Jews, on Christians. He's implementing the laws that the Jews are supposed to follow on Christians and measuring them through that, which is wrong. Because where does it say in the New Testament that you are under the law? It says, I came to free from the law. We are not under the law. Christians are not under the law. So that has nothing to do with Christianity, but he's making it still, that this has a Christian Bible. No,
Put the brightness.
This is history.
Brightness, so I can see.
So time is coming, don't worry. I'll stop. How many seconds I got? Like that. Okay, I got 20 seconds still, okay? So now, if this is the fact that this is only applicable to Jews because they are under the law, we are not under the law. And this was for that time when they were under attack, the Jews were, all the people were attacking them. That's it. So this is absolutely false. There is nothing in the Bible that allows, especially for Christians. In the Christian New Testament, Jesus said 1 man and 1 woman. Everything else is not allowed. We allowed it in the Old Testament,
3 minutes.
but not anymore.
3 minutes.
That's it.
2 minutes, yeah? I don't want 3 minutes. Okay. So he said the reason God allowed sex slavery to enslave the captive woman is because the Jews were under attack. Same applies to Muslims. Muslims are under attack that time, Prophet's time, they were under attack. So same applies to that one as well. So you can't say and the law of Torah has got nothing to do with us when you believe the God of the Torah is same as the God of New Testament. That means the same God, not different God. It's not different God. And the other one, Jesus' law is the law of Torah. That's why Jesus said, the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5 verse 17, I have not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. So, and that's why Jesus also practiced the law of Torah. If I quote some verses from New Testament, Jesus said any children who curse their parents should be put to death, according to the Gospel of Matthew chapter 15 verse 4. And if you go to Torah, Tanakh, it says the same. So basically Jesus, he came to practice the law of Torah. Again, another verse,
again?
John
chapter 14,
chapter 8 verse 7.
Matthew 14 what?
Matthew chapter 15 verse 4. And again, John chapter 8 verse 7, Jesus practiced the law of Torah, which says anyone who commits adultery should be put to death. That's why Jesus said yes. Jesus said yes. Jesus said yes for adultery. Yes, according to Torah and the law of Jesus as well. So that's why.
We're having a debate. You want to have a conversation? Go ahead. Step over there. Can you don't disturb when you are talking, please?
I want to ask you something.
One second. There's a debate.
No, it's timing for me.
No, you can talk over there.
It's timing for me and him.
Yeah, it's timed. We're having a time debate, and you can ask the question
You can
after.
ask me. I don't mind.
I don't want you to
So
take
now,
his time.
the verse he said is not about. It's about marriage. It doesn't talk about marriage. It's talking about the war booty, captives woman. Captives woman, as I said, is not by choice. It's by force. And the Bible never said marry them. It doesn't say that. It says if you dislike her after sleeping with her, let her go. So you're using her until when you want.
3 minutes.
When you don't want her, you let her go.
got
If
one
you
more
want
minute.
her, you force her. Captives woman, we know it's not by choice. You force them, you got them, you possess them. It's what your hands possessed. Same as what Allah told us in the Quran. So what your hand possessed in Islam, there are two ways. The one your hands are possessed, it can be slaves whom you buy them. Back in the days, people used to buy slaves, even Jews, according to Israelites, according to Arab, they used to buy slaves, whether it's women or men. So if you could want to have them, keep them. So the Quran and the Hadith is not just talking about the woman, we captives during the battle. A slave can be also received from buying, not just from captives from war. So do you understand the difference? One you captives from the war, and the other one you can buy, go to where people used to sell slaves, you can buy them. It's not just all the time slaves in Islam, you only get them from war. Same also what applies the God of Israel, according to him, he believes he's got same God as the God of Israel, but I believe Jews also believe they got different God than Christians. Jews believe Muslims and them, we have same God.
Okay. So first of all, he quoted, again, all he does is misquote the Bible.
Cool.
All right. So he was quoting verse number 4, but this is the chapter which deals with the religious leaders criticize the disciples. And I'm going to go from verse number 1 to verse number 4 because he went straight to verse number 4. Then they came to Jesus, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, "Why do the disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread." Verse number 3. But he answered and said unto them, "Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your wisdom, by your tradition?" Number 4. For God commanded, saying, "Honor thy father and thy mother. He that cursed father and mother, cursed thy father and mother, let him die." He is Jesus here. Now this is such a blatant misquote of the Bible by my friend here, Siraj. He's saying that this verse is, Jesus is telling them this. Jesus is actually doing the opposite. He's criticizing the Pharisees who are trying to find fault with his disciples not washing their hands because it's against the Jewish law to eat without washing hands. So Jesus counters that and says, "Oh, you can see this, but you don't see that? That you're supposed to stone your son, you don't do that, but you are criticizing for this law." So he's countering that argument with this argument. He's not saying, "I'm saying do this." So my friend here cannot...
Where did Jesus never say that? Read 4, read 4.
But
no,
if you read
4.
from 1 to 4.
No, 4, read 4.
So
I want
read
what
from 1 to
Jesus
4.
said. What did Jesus say?
Who did he say it to?
No, who is talking
Okay,
first?
so now you're taking my time because my time. So now you're starting a deal. So I'm going to get my time back because you asked for it. I can go back
I
there.
just asked you.
All right, I'm not. Okay, so he just said, "Oh, go to 4, go to 4." I went from 1 to 4 because the 1 to 4 give you the context, who he's saying it, why he's saying it. And he's saying it, I gave you the reason. He's trying to use up my time, which is, I have a very limited time. I just wanted to point out, it was a misquote. That's what he's about. He's nothing to do with Jesus saying, "You have to do this." No. Okay. Again, in the New Testament, has nothing, Jesus said, is one man and one woman, anything else is adultery. That's what Christians believe. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to go to the Old Testament, which I told him that was for the Jews, because at that time Jews were allowed to have divorce. And they took them not by force, because they did not, if they were taking them by force, so why would they give them 1 month to mourn their parents? They could just have sex with them right away, just like in Islam. You take the woman, her husband is alive, whatever it is, it's null. The marriage is null after she becomes your slave. That marriage is over. Now she's your slave, do whatever you want. That's Islam. In Christianity, or even in the Jewish tradition, where he's quoting from, the Old Testament, it does not say that you take the woman and have sex with her by force. It says, give her this time, have her as a wife. Okay, have her as a wife, not as a sex slave.
Okay, now again, he said, Jesus came to free us from the law, yes? Guess what? Jesus never came to free Christians from the law. Evidence is the Gospel of Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 to 23. Jesus, when they come to him in judgment day, they will say, "Oh my Lord, did we not prophesy in your name?" And he will say to them, "Get away from me, depart from me. I never knew you. I never
you
knew."
workers of
No, wait.
Don't
Let me
misquote
finish.
Jesus.
Let
You're
me
gonna
come.
quote it.
Let me
Quote
come
it,
to the
quote it.
point. Let me come to the point. Jesus is going to blame them. He will say to them, "Get away from me, you evildoers," by breaking the law. So if Jesus came to free them from the law, why would he blame them for breaking the law? Which means Jesus never came to free Christians from the law. So do you understand? So now another one, the verse. He said Islam says if you get a captive woman from the war booty, even if she is married to another guy, still she becomes your wife. You can use her as much as you want. Same, the verse I gave him, and the verse I gave him, Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10. You're not listening, son. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10 to 14. Also, it says if you captive a woman, a beautiful woman, which means if she's married to another guy, if she belongs to another guy or not, still you keep her and she becomes for your wife by force, muta marriage. You sleep with her, you treat her, you mistreat her as a prostitute, and then you let her go if you don't like her. So that verse also tells us whether you captive a beautiful woman, whether she's married to another guy or not, still she becomes what your hands possessed. So which is same as what Allah told us in the Quran.
Okay, again, he went all over the place. So first of all, in the New Testament, he is misquoting Jesus when he's talking about, "I came to fulfill the law." Okay, he came to fulfill the law to free us from the law. That means we are not under the law. When he said, "Go away, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you," that means that these people who were following Jesus, but they were not accepting